Welcome to Mub Life Entertainment. Today is about the Lakers championship contenders, despite Jared Dudley being our cheerleader all year.
Go get him, guys. A lot of energy, a lot of focus.
Okay. It looks like LeBron James is having another GOAT season. And the funny thing about this season is Clippers fans and every hating Bron sexual has something negative to say no matter what goes on. In the offseason, the Lakers waited for Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard spurned the Lakers. Had him to believe that he was going to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers. Even LeBron believed it. But it was all part of Kawhi's plan to sabotage their team and go sign with the Clippers, because behind the scenes he was recruiting Kevin Durant, Paul George, and they said other players which they didn't name. But he got Paul George. Now, by the Lakers waiting, which I believe they was being greedy, because you didn't need Kawhi Leonard. You just needed a great supporting cast around LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But since they waited for Kawhi Leonard, they lost out on good role players who they was targeting. They was targeting D'Angelo Russell, who was just an all-star, a backup for the all-star game. He still made the all-star game as an alternate, as a backup. They was targeting Brook Lopez. Not sure they was going to get him. They was targeting C.J. McConnell. They was targeting Malcolm Brogdon. They was targeting J.J. Redick, Trevor Ariza, and many other players who could have made this roster look even better than what they did in the offseason. And in the offseason, Avery Bradley was let out of his contract after being traded from team to team. He had no market. Wasn't no teams trying to pick Bradley up. Wasn't no teams interested. They wasn't interested in Dwight Howard. He was just let go by the Wizards. He went from team to team. You know, when he left the Lakers, went to the Rockets, end up with Charlotte, get traded to the Wizards. And they had to wait also to re-sign KCP, who no other teams even wanted. He had no market either. Rajon Rondo, JaVale McGee, both had no market besides the Lakers. Boogie Cousins had no market due to his injury coming off an Achilles. He had no market from any other team. And they had to resort to signing a G League player who was on a two-way deal the year before. So they signed him permanently to a regular contract with the Lakers because they had to choose with what they had. Luckily, Danny Green waited because other teams wanted Danny Green, and they could have got Danny Green. Phenomenal season last year. He led the league, if I'm not mistaken, in three-point percentage, or at least was top 2. Showed up in the playoffs. He shot good. But other teams wanted him. He waited. They signed Danny Green and the rest of the Misfits. After that signing, then they lost out on Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard signs with the Clippers, who has Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, PG-13 Kawhi Leonard. The media, old media, turned around and said the Lakers will be a 4th seed or a 7th seed. Wow. So you got 2 top 10 players on one team. Some say top 5, but if you look at the list, AD didn't finish in the top 5. He finished top 6. So they had 2 top 10 players. You can say top 5, but I go off the facts. I don't go off my feelings. Because I feel as though he's actually a top 3, top 5, top 3 player in the league. But when they made the list, he made number 6. Paul George made number 7. So after that, the season begins. LeBron and the Lakers have a phenomenal season. These players who was misfits, who had no market from other teams, overachieve, play way better than they did the previous year. Nobody wanted Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley struggled all the way up until the last 2 months and put on a show. Defensively, and a great game against the Clippers. KCP, he leads the Lakers in three-point percentage. The best three-point shooter we got. Now, I try not to be biased because I am a Laker fan. But I'm not a diehard Laker fan. I love the sport before I love my team. And these guys played well. Howard was on a redemption trail. Look how he's playing now. Great defense. And if they make him more bigger than in the offense, he would score more points. Because y'all forgetting Charlotte, he had one of them 30-30 games. So he's still capable of putting up big numbers and big rebounds. JaVale McGee and Rondo. Rondo, I can't lie, he's been a disappointment. But JaVale McGee, he's been great. And they say Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee is the new Twin Towers. I would add AD into that and say we got the Empire State Building also, but we got the Twin Towers. The new Twin Towers. And we picked up Quinn Cook, who Golden State let go. And he's been playing okay. He lost his minutes, what people forget. He had big minutes when he first started. He just was trying to do too much. And Quinn Cook is a scorer, and he got championship experience. Most of the players on the Lakers, a lot of them have championship experience or finals experience. And a lot of them have playoff experience. Which I'm going to get into when I do my segment, Clippers versus Lakers, the bubble restart. But right now, I'm just talking about this GOAT season that LeBron having. He's leading the league in assists. He's 35 years old, putting up 26 points, 8 rebounds. Now, people discredit it because, oh, he's playing with AD. He's playing with another great player. Well, y'all gonna get mad about that? Or are we gonna keep the same energy that we had for the past couple years, the past few years, when Kevin Durant was playing with Steph Curry, and everybody say, oh, Kevin Durant is the best player in the world right now. He's the best player, back-to-back MVPs. Nobody ever said, oh, well, he's playing with Steph Curry, the previous MVP, greatest shooter of all time. Nobody ever said he's playing with 3 other All-Stars that won 73 games before he even joined the team. But this is not about Kevin Durant, and I'm a Kevin Durant fan. But I'm a fan of the sport before I'm a fan of the player. So I'm going to keep it 100. Nobody brung that up. But since we brung it up, let's get into it. Everybody who's actually a top contender besides the Raptors and the Bucks, the main teams in the West, you know, the Great West, that LeBron is the number 1 seed. He has the Lakers as the number 1 seed. After they said he wouldn't do it, he's only doing this in the East because the East is weak, and the East is the weakest it's been in years. And I'll do that in another segment. But James Harden, Russell Westbrook, 2 top 10 players on the Rockets. Kawhi Leonard, PG-13, 2 top 10 players on the Clippers. I mean, how long we gonna do this? Even though Brooklyn is hurt, Kyrie was in the top 10. KD and Kyrie went to the Brooklyn. So don't give me this, oh, they got 2 top 10 players. Look, cut it out. A lot of teams have 2 top 10 players. It's just, y'all say LeBron is wash, LeBum, everything you could come up with. But once he start winning, it's, oh, he only doing it because of this. He only doing it because of that. Why not? He's just doing it because he's great. Those are great numbers, and he whipped this team into shape. Like I said, during the offseason, they had no market. But when you got players who come to reality just hit them in the head, and they like, look, I gotta get it together. My money running short, my market ain't popping like it used to be. I gotta perform well this year. And what did these players do? They performed phenomenal to a certain extent, mainly defensively, because the offense, a lot of them, they're not really doing as much offensively, and that is the excuse people make when they say, oh, the Lakers won't win a chip. They don't have a great supporting cast. But every time the Lakers win, especially when they beat the Clippers, and then when they beat the Bucks, and when they became the #1 seed by a landslide, 5.5 games, it was, oh, LeBron got the best team. He got all these great players. The Lakers is stacked up. But then when you argue, oh, they won't win a ring, is, oh, who do they got? They don't have nobody. They don't have no great players. The Clippers got him and this guy and that guy. But y'all forget that y'all just said this team was a great supporting cast. Y'all said losing a great Avery Bradley was going to hurt tremendously. Losing Rondo, and he will be back during the playoffs. We did not lose him. We lost him for the time being. But he's so great, we're going to do bad without him. We picked up Dion Waiters. We picked up J.R. Smith, who's actually playing great in these scrimmage games. But I'm not like every other casual fan who don't know the game and say, oh, they look at them. Look at them. Nobody could stop them. Nobody could beat them. It's a scrimmage game. It's not too much hard defense being played. Now, Dion is a bucket. J.R. Smith is a shooter. That's what we needed. We got it. Now I want to see how they do with real defense. But LeBron James took this team to the #1 seed after they said he was the Wash King. It's over. Father Time then finally called him. Yes, whoop-de-doo. They threw a secret parade and everything. But look what happened. He's leading the league in assists. His team is the #1 team in the West. And before the hiatus with this Corona thing, they was on the heels of becoming the best team in the league. You never know. I can't say definitively. But Giannis was hurt. And he would have missed at least 7 games. And that would have put the Lakers up there. If they won the majority of their games, they would have put them ahead of the Bucks. So why do we take away credit from when LeBron performs well, but highlight every failure that LeBron has in his career? No matter when he wins, if he win this year, just like he won 2016, that's the only All-Star that year on his team against 3 other All-Stars and the starter, Iguodala. And what we say? Well, 2011. Okay, we all, any person, any LeBron fan, if any NBA fan says that LeBron did not choke, you're crazy and you don't love sports. He choked. Yes, he choked. But right after that, he redeemed himself with back-to-back finals, back-to-back MVPs. Consecutive finals after that. Now everybody say Le 3-6, Le 3-6. Well, add context to some of them losses. Say what you want about Cavaliers, well, Miami. Say what you want. I believe they should have won every single finals they went to. I don't care about experience. This Wade only averaged 15 points. Bosh didn't. I don't want to hear it. They choked and they should have won every last one of them. There's no excuse for that. But 2007, him going up against the great Spurs as the only All-Star on his team, only All-NBA player, young and experienced. Yes, he posed the loss to the Spurs. I was rooting for the Spurs. 2018, 2017. Let's start with 18. The only other All-Star on his team was Kevin Love. All the rest of the Cavs was actually underperforming, but he took a bunch of bench players to the finals with him. A bunch of players that they traded their starters for bench players.
Bradley, corner, defense.
Getting work is not an option. Fuck the fans if they watch. Nigga,
I love it.
I just bust a jug on them. I just bust a jug on them. I'm catching a jug and paying the plug. I'm plugged into the socket. Getting work is not an option. Fuck the fans if they watch. Nigga, I just bust a jug on them. I just bust a jug on them. I'm catching a jug and paying the plug. I'm plugged into the socket. Getting work is not an option. Fuck the fans if they watch. Nigga, I just bust a jug on them. I catching a jug and paying the plug. I'm plugged into the socket. Getting work is not an option. Fuck the feds if they watching, nigga.